Pedro Pablo Nakada Ludeña was born February 28, 1973. He is a Peruvian serial killer known as the Apostle of Death. Pedro Nakada has admitted to killing 25 innocent people with a 9mm pistol that he fitted with a homemade rubber silencer constructed from sandals. His motive was that God had commanded him to cleanse the earth by eliminating drug addicts, prostitutes, homosexuals, and criminals. Pedro Nakada's early life. Pedro Nakada's early life was marked with grief after his biological father died, which has a significant impact on young Pedro. In addition, his mother was said to have suffered from an undiagnosed mental disorder, which hindered Nakada's social skills, deeming him vulnerable. Nakada was submissive and often abused by his siblings, who regularly ridiculed him and made him dress like a girl. He also claimed to have been raped by his brothers after they concluded he had killed their pregnant dog, which Nakada denies. And he blames this incident for his hatred of homosexuals. Pedro Nakada's demeanor as a child and as an adult was that of a quiet, calm, and solitary individual, and just by looking at him, no one could have imagined that he was a murderer. However, unbeknownst to many, he was a religious fanatic who proclaimed himself an avenging angel, claiming to be God's messenger, whose divine mission consisted of exterminating his perceived enemies, that he considered the social scum and believed that he was helping clean the streets of people of bad living such as prostitutes, drug addicts, and homosexuals. Once he decided on a potential victim, Pedro would stalk them for days or weeks to determine if they were worthy of living amongst the pure ones. If he deemed them immoral, he would place a rubber silencer on the tip of the weapon so that no one would hear the shot. If anyone heard or witnessed the crime, he had no other option but to murder the witness. His victims pleaded for their lives on many occasions, but Pedro would ignore their pleas and kill them without remorse. These killings drew the attention of a specialized group of the national police who queried intensely for the murderer who had killed 5 people execution style with 2 shots to the head, between December 18 and December 27, 2006. And through clues provided by victims and witnesses, the authorities narrowed it down to one person, Pedro Pablo Nakada Ludeña. On December 28, 2006, with information on Nakada's whereabouts, dozens of officers surrounded the automotive workshop where he worked as a mechanic. Nakada proceeded to confront them by pulling out his 9mm pistol, which he used for his crimes. A fierce gunfight ensued, with Nakada putting up a tenacious resistance and injuring an agent. Ultimately, authorities managed to apprehend him, deflecting the situation. Pedro Nakada's arrest happened in a timely moment, nearly on the verge of what would probably have cost a considerable loss of lives. Nakada was planning to throw grenades in a nightclub in the busiest time of the year, New Year's Day, which was only 3 days away. The first night he spent in custody, Pedro tried to commit suicide by hitting his head against the wall. After unsuccessfully killing himself, he explained a voice had directed him to kill himself since he can no longer fulfill God's mission due to his capture. A cross-examination quickly commenced, and authorities questioned Pedro on 8 unsolved murders they had on file. Pedro's response was unexpected when he corrected investigators by stating they were wrong. He then proceeded to confess and give details on 25 people he had killed. According to his confession to the police, Pedro pre-selected his victims based on his misguided ideology of purifying the land of prostitutes, drug addicts, homosexuals, and assailants. Furthermore, he believed that he was acting under God's commands. Although he confessed to killing 25 people, he was convicted of only 17 murders and sentenced to 35 years, the maximum sentence allowed in Peru. He is scheduled for release at the ripe age of 73. What are your thoughts on Pedro's random killings? Should he ever be set free? Please share your thoughts on the comment section below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.